What is up, gamers? DJ Power here. It's been a minute again. It's gonna keep being a minute. You know, just kind of be bulling. Anyways, what is up, guys? I believe I'm the first person to make a video on something in like a really long time. I'm finally on the pulse of something. Look at this. We have a TIE Kraken. This is a TIE Kraken. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the TIE Kraken. I got my Hydro here, so we can talk about that as well, because they are very similar, actually. So we're going to be discussing that, and yeah. And then I'm going to fuck up the aerial chaplain thing. So we're killing it already. So, let's just start with overview. This is not my knife. I have it because I'm trying to sell it for a friend. It's pending sold, and I was like, okay, I need to make a video before it's gone, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't have a V3 blade because he just bought the handles, and I think it's a V2 blade, I believe. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. The blades aren't that different. They're pretty similar, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, let's get down to business. Titanium Kraken, it has a Kraken blade, and then it has 6AL4V titanium handles with weight pins and the whole shebang. It's sandwiched, it has jimping. There's a milling line that goes straight down the middle instead of a normal Kraken, which I should have had ready on standby, but I'm stupid. Where it's just like a milling line, and it's not fully cut through, but the TIE Kraken is. So that's a little different. It's got hidden Zen pins. Yeah, sorry, I smacked the fisheye there. My fault. There we go. So yeah. Let's actually get down to the business, though. We're not doing all the specs and whatever. It's the same size as a normal Kraken, by the way. It's the same size. In case you were wondering, it's the same thing. It's a little longer than a Hydro, because the Hydro is a little smaller. But, let's actually talk about the flipping experience. So, me personally, I got to flip the TIE Kraken at Blade Show, obviously. I think the Weehawk is the best on it, but I mean, to be fair, I also just really like the Weehawk, so take that how you will. Tanto on it is not bad at all. With the Tanto, it's like a neutral with like the teeny tiniest amount of blade. With the Weehawk, it's like dead neutral, and then with the Bowie, it's a slight handle. So, balance ranges, and then obviously from there it's going to deviate because of how many weight pins you have in it. This is the stock configuration of how many pins are in the handles. So you'll have, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 3. So you got 10 weight pins total from Squid. And yeah, from there you can subtract. 10 is the most that you're going to be able to do, because on this side, the blade would be too long and it would hit the spacers. So 10 is the max you can have for weight pins. And yeah. The handles, interestingly enough, are milled the exact same way on both sides. So putting it together, I imagine, is like the easiest thing alive. As if it already wasn't easy enough to put together a sandwich knife. So for whatever reason, they are like symmetrical, like the slabs themselves. Yeah. Flipping wise, sorry, I smacked it again. Let's get down to flipping. Let's talk about how it actually flips and performs. It's not bad. I'm gonna start with that off rip. I don't dislike the TIE Kraken, but it's also, like, the way that I told people off rip when they asked me about it at Blade Show was, I didn't think a Kraken could get more mid. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I would prefer a normal Kraken to a TIE Kraken any day of the week. Bowie, Tanto, Weehawk, I don't care. I would prefer a normal Kraken over TIE Kraken any day. Reason for that, I have a couple of reasons. the main two that I'm going to go with is lack of handle weight and the shape of the handles. So let's start shape of the handles. I think that's going to be easier to talk about. The handles are actually the exact same as the Hydro in terms of height, the slab thickness. The only thing is that the handles on the Thai Kraken are actually wider than the Hydro. So the Hydro has more square handles, while the Thai Kraken has more rectangular. As you can see there, they're not very square. Now, I don't have a problem with rectangular knives. That's not my issue. My problem is handle shape compared to balance. Now, I'm going to explain what that means because most people aren't going to understand. This knife, like I said before, lacks handle weight. We're going to get to that in a second as well. But because of that, it likes to fan a lot. The fans are like really neutral. They're like really good T fans. Here's a choker. Normal like momentum fanning, like it goes to a T no problem. Backhand, reverse fanning, like fans on it are great. But the handles being so square, rectangular, blocky makes it that fanning isn't as smooth and as nice as it could be. Having these kind of like flat faces and things like that are good for starting a fan, but a little bit of a bitch for maintaining a fan. Now, if you had a knife that was blocky, you can get around that and just loosen your hand a little more. Sorry for the cut there, my phone was overheating and I had to hold it in front of my fan so that it stopped dying. What was I saying? Right. So blocky is good for starting a fan, bad for maintaining. And, you know, I think the easiest fan to really talk about that with would be a choker. Because sometimes your fingers are going to, like, you know, grip a little too hard and then it's going to stop, like, right here. Right? And it's not going to keep rotating because one face is, like, longer and has more surface area than another. It's a similar problem with, like, ladders and stuff. All it takes is, like, one slight little movement, and it's going to go off the side of the handle, and it's going to start going to the face of the handle, like that. So, it's a similar problem, but with fanning, it's not as prominent, but it can still be a problem, depending on how you flip, depending on how tight you like to hold your knife, blah, 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 depends on the flipper. Now let's talk about the actual bigger problem, because you can get around a knife being rectangular. That's whatever, you know what I mean? Dimensions, you know, subjectivity, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's whatever. But when a knife lacks handle weight, that's something we can definitely get down and talk about. Now, again, this has the max amount of weight pins you can have on the Thai Kraken. I want to make that very clear. This is as much handle weight that you can put on a Thai Kraken. And if I go to 0G, I can hold it for a little while, but man, is it really trying to fight me. It does not, it just doesn't want to. There's no ass weight on this at all. And God forbid I go a little bit faster, it's definitely not going to stay. Now, even on normal chaplains, right, if I try to do like a faster chaplain, like, yeah, I can get it, but it just doesn't stick. Like, rollovers on this thing are not that great. And this is where it gets frustrating, because blocky handles are great for rollovers. They're going to stay exactly where you want them to. They're going to plant, because there's no way for your finger to roll off of, let's say, the spine of the channel, right, like on the back. Or let's say you're trying to hold the face, you're going to hold the face. Unlike a knife that has a lot of, like, or not a lot, but has very heavy rounding, your fingers can, like, swivel and move around on the rollover. And then, for whatever reason, maybe you're on, like, this weird, like, middle area and your rollover gets all fucked up from it. You don't get that from blocky handles, right? It's very calculated, it's very precise, because there's no way your finger is going to roll off a flat edge. But yet, it doesn't do rollovers well. And that's why I'm so frustrated with this thing. It doesn't do rollovers well, it fans well, but the handles aren't great for fanning. They're good for rollovers, but the rollovers aren't good. Like, that is so frustrating. And it's just so mid. Like, The thing with the Kraken, and the reason why it's such a good competitive flipper, is it'll do everything you throw at it. If, let's say, I want to do a ton of 0Gs. Wow, look at that. I can do 0Gs, no problem. Yeah, I fuck it up there, of course I do. But, like, you can really just gun it. You can't do that with the TIE Kraken, right? I can do really hard chaplains, like really, really fast normal chaplains. I couldn't hold the chaplain on the... Of course I hit the fucking... Please move back, just move back, just move back, move back, thank you. I can do all that stuff on the normal Kraken, right? And it doesn't fight me for it. It does not, like, bitch and moan and groan about it because it's not a caramel macchiato with a double pump of espresso. But yet, if I grab the TIE Kraken, well, this is a bit of a bougie bitch, right? God forbid, I walk into the wrong store, she's going home. And not only she's going home, she's gonna go home with an Uber and pay for it with my debit card. Like, I don't like this thing. I really don't. It's frustrating, because I wanted to like it. I was hyped to see a TIE Kraken, but at the same time, I was also kind of like, why don't you just make a new TIE knife? But that's besides the point, right? And it also adds so much clutter. Let's also talk about that. The TIE Kraken comes in the same price point with the same materials as the Hydro and the Madco. Explain to me why there is now 3 knives in the same price range with the same materials, and 2 of the knives have the exact same handle width, or sorry, handle height, not width, handle height, and the same problems, because the Hydro suffers from handle weight as well. It does not have enough handle weight. I was so pissed off when I got it, and it came with Ultim spacers, like the lightest material possible, and G10 still doesn't save it. And it's so frustrating. Like, I want to like these knives, and I just can't because they're just not... They don't have what they need. Like, okay, I still gotta make a video on this guy. And trust me, it's on its way. I will make it soon. I want to get zippy spacers for it so I can really make the proper video that I want to on it. But that's going to sit on the sideline for now because this guy is the perfect representation of what I don't like about the Hydro, but accentuated. And not only that, but it just adds more problems than the Hydro did. Because now, this is a knife that is supposed to be, like, the Kraken 2, honestly, because it's a Kraken, but with better materials, but yet it flips worse than a regular Kraken. I don't get it. I don't understand. Why? Like, there's gotta be more here. There has to be more. Give me normal spacers. Stop this. Stop. This doesn't make sense. I'm tired of this shit. Just give me normal block spacers. Why? What is with this? Is it just because of the community, like, constantly talking about how there's too much handle bias on knives, or squid handle bias this, squid handle bias that? Like, you can put normal spacers that will allow me to do rollovers and have it not be fucking slight handle like all the other products from Squid. Like, there are ways to make a knife that's still good without killing it in the worst way possible. Like, it almost feels like Squid only knows how to do one type of design philosophy, which is slight handle bias. All their knives feel like it. Like, damn. It's frustrating. Give me something more. Why does every one of your knives kind of have the same balance, or at least the same range? And then these come out, and they feel like they should have slight handle bias, but the reason they don't is because they have bad spacers. Why? Like, the Hydro should have aluminum spacers. We'll get into that whenever I do the Hydro video. But it's just, it's frustrating. It's really, really, really frustrating when a knife comes out for $420, basically should be an AB competitor, and yet the AB still kicks its ass. Like, what is the reason? What is the purpose? What's the point of this? I don't get it. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense to me. And yes, people can like what they like. I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. If you like the TIE Kraken, good. I hope you love your TIE Kraken. I really, really do. I want to see Squid succeed, and I think this is the wrong step. I think what they've been doing recently is a really, really bad sign of where they're going. So, that's just me personally. I'm giving the TIE Kraken a fucking 6 out of 10. It's just so whatever. I don't like it. Now, before we end off this video, I'm going to give you guys a quick sound and tolerance test. Before I give the tolerance test, I do want to say that something that I have seen from Thai Krakens is they tap. This one taps just a little bit. There is no channel widening on the Thai slabs at all, not even a little bit. And before you say that it's because it's a V2 or V2.5 blade on Thai handles, no, because there are people who bought Thai Krakens from Blade Show with the V3 blade already assembled, and they tap after a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's the Thai Kraken. Thank you all for watching. I hope that this answered any of your questions about the Thai Kraken at all. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything to say that isn't completely brain dead stupid, leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you own a Thai Kraken, let me know if you feel the same way or if you disagree with me, and if you like it, I want to know why you like it. That's about it from me, boys. Again, thank you for watching. I know I say it every time, but we do have more content coming soon. I am actually going to be making a video about weight distribution and how it's not the same as balance, and a lot of common misconceptions that are focused around flipping. So, be excited to see that. I'm going to be making, like, a little, like, notes, like a bulletin point, so I can follow along with, like, what I think and stuff like that. So there's a little more structure to that video, because I don't want to fuck that one up. I might even edit it. Who knows? We'll see. But that's about it for me, boys. I will see y'all later. Have a good one. Fortnite.
I love Buttercat. Right now. Yeah, we love the Buttercat. Buttercat on screen. Buttercat. Yeah, Buttercat.
Buttercat. Cat with the butter.
Yeah, Buttercat. Yeah, Buttercat. There's a Buttercat on the screen. Buttercat. The guy with the butter. Buttercat.